Thank you very much, Dr. Pramod, for those comments, and also Trevor for your introduction. I'd like to welcome everyone, and I pay my respects to all participants and listeners, and my sincere apologies for not appearing in front of you in person. However, just to explain to everyone, I have come up with a severe allergic reaction to something or other, and I'm not fit for public presentation. So it's just my voice you have to listen to today, so my apologies. I'd like to thank the Nepal Institute for International Cooperation Engagement for organising today's event. Thank you. As Nepal, indeed the region, takes stock of the momentous events that have shaped this year, elections across the globe, conflict in the Middle East, climate deals in Kazakhstan, this forum is an important contribution to global listening and understanding. From saga to saga, from the sea to the mountaintop, stretching from the eastern shores of the Pacific to the western shores of the Indian Ocean, from the mountaintops of the Himalayas to the frozen glaciers of Antarctica. While a clear definition of the Indo-Pacific is open to debate, it is safe to assume that at least 2/3 of the world's population live in this region. And Australia sits in the middle and is deeply connected to this region. A free and open Indo-Pacific, therefore, is at the very core of Australia's interests. Free and open in terms of trade, in terms of movement, in terms of human rights, and in terms of how countries of the region engage with each other. Australia is committed to working with Indo-Pacific nations to achieve this. We want a region that is peaceful, stable, prosperous, and respectful of sovereignty, where disputes are addressed in accordance with international law and norms, not by power and size. We aim to do this with an economy built on trade and our foreign relations built on mutual respect and openness. We work to make this happen by upholding the rules and placing a deep focus on partnering with the region, which is why a large part of Australian government's foreign policy has been centred on strengthening our relationships in the Pacific, Southeast Asia, and the broader region, seeking to make Australia a partner of choice for countries across the Indo-Pacific. We have heard calls from the Pacific for deeper connections and easier movement. The Pacific Engagement Visa is a new permanent residence visa for eligible Pacific and Timor-Leste citizens that commenced earlier this year. The PEV will grow the Pacific and Timor-Leste communities in Australia and will strengthen the links, therefore, between people and encourage business and education ties. The government will continue to engage with Pacific partners to ensure the program meets shared needs and priorities in support of a peaceful, prosperous, and resilient Pacific region. The Australia-Papua New Guinea Bilateral Security Agreement entered into force earlier this week. The agreement is a landmark chapter in the Australia-Papua New Guinea Comprehensive Security and Economic Partnership. It takes a broad view of security consistent with the norms, values, and collective security goals of the Pacific Islands Forum. As such, it provides for deeper cooperation in traditional areas of security, like defence, policing, border, and maritime security, as well as non-traditional areas of cybersecurity, climate change, gender-based violence, and critical infrastructure. The Australia-Tuvalu-Falapili Union represents a momentous step in the elevated partnership between our two countries. It puts in place transformational arrangements to safeguard the future of Tuvalu and advances our shared interests in a peaceful, safe, and prosperous Pacific. With the treaty now in force, Australia undertakes to respond when Tuvalu calls for assistance, for example, for a major natural disaster, health pandemic, or military aggression. We will work together to open our special mobility pathway, which will provide Tuvaluans with the opportunity to live, work, and study in Australia. The pace and scale of delivery of this groundbreaking initiative is unparalleled in the Australian system, reflecting the strength and value of our enhanced partnership. We expedited delivery of the Guardian-class patrol boat to help Tuvalu monitor its vast economic zone and fishing areas. The Vaka, Tuvalu's first undersea telecommunications cable, landed in Tuvalu this week with assistance from Australia, less than 4 months after the treaty came into force. Likewise, the Pacific Policing Initiative is a Pacific-led, Australian-backed initiative and is a major regional measure to strengthen collective peace and security throughout the Pacific, boosting the capability of the Pacific countries to meet law and order and internal security requirements, and to help each other in times of need. Australia was part of the first deployment of the Pacific Police Support Group to provide security support for Samoa's hosting of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in October this year. 46 police officers from 11 Pacific countries and territories participated in this deployment, including the Australian Federal Police and Samoa Police. The Australian government is also doing much to give effect to the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals agenda through the aid program, including through significant investments in health and education, increasing aid for trade investments to 20% of the aid budget, helping our developing country partners increase domestic revenue and strengthen their business and investment environments, and doubling our investments to support developing countries strengthen their tax systems, increase domestic resource mobilisation, and promote good economic governance. This indeed is a key pillar of our assistance to Nepal, as evidenced in our subnational governance program. The Australian government has also set a target requiring at least 80% of aid investments effectively address gender issues in their implementation. And on this point, I'm pleased to note that our subnational governance development program here in Nepal has been acknowledged for its work to support women's empowerment at local levels, and our recently concluded water basin project has been awarded an Environment Award for its work on gender, disability, and inclusivity. The Australian government recognises that its prosperity, security, and economic future are intimately linked with Southeast Asia. This defines our relationship with the region. By 2040, Southeast Asia as a bloc is expected to be the fourth largest economy in the world. Its middle class already numbers close to 200 million people. The Moore Report invested Australia's Southeast Asia economic strategy to 2040 provides a practical roadmap to increase Australia's two-way trade and investment with the region, and seeks to ensure we are jointly positioned to maximise the potential of our economic ties. The more we trade and build mutually beneficial relationships, the more integrated and open our region becomes. Australia is working with partners in South and Central Asia to create a stable, prosperous, and resilient region. Australia's development cooperation in this region focuses on addressing transboundary challenges, enhancing regional cooperation, and deploying our expertise in water resources, agriculture, trade, and infrastructure to support long-term stability and economic resilience. The South and Central Asia Regional Programme supports technical assistance, project preparation, analysis and research, capability building, people-to-people links, advocacy and policy reform. Gender equality, disability inclusion, and climate change are focuses of all investments under the regional programme. Australia is also building the capability of regional institutions, including the Indian Ocean Rim Association, and promoting greater cooperation in maritime safety and security, women's economic empowerment, and the blue economy of the Indian Ocean region. Australia's engagement in South Asia is also characterised by strong people-to-people links, cultural ties, and increasing trade and investment. More than 1.5 million Australians claim South Asian heritage, and South Asian migrant communities are among our fastest growing. We share and foster close people-to-people ties through the Australia Awards, the New Colombo Plan, and the Australian Volunteers programs. Expertise through Australian government agencies is highly valued and sought after, particularly in agriculture, infrastructure, energy transition, environment, ocean and water resource management, and trade. Australian-supported technical assistance and training are expanding trade, investment, connectivity in South Asia. So the way we manage our interests in the face of challenges is only partly through direct dealing. Much of the answer lies in approaching these challenges in regional terms. So again, I thank NICE for organising this very important event and for all our other panellists and participants' contributions. One of the key means of ensuring a peaceful, stable and prosperous region is through free trade and through free and open trade. Australia's openness to foreign investment has helped to build Australia, create jobs, and raise living standards through the introduction of new technology and by fostering competition. I promise I'm nearly finished. Foreign investment was central to the development of our agriculture, resources, energy, infrastructure, and financial sectors, and will be critical as we transition to a net zero economy. Foreign companies employ 1 in 8 Australian workers. The multilateral trading system, underpinned by WTO rules, is fundamental to Australia's and the world's prosperity and security. Greater economic engagement across the region also helps build alignment. It helps foster a dynamic that reassures the region around tensions for peace and prosperity. We all have a responsibility to shape the region we want to share, one that is peaceful, stable, and prosperous. Maintaining this character is a continuous process, an ongoing process. It requires all of us to nurture and protect agreed rules, uphold international law, prevent conflict, and build strategic trust. And we all want countries, large or small, to operate by the same rules and norms. These principles are embedded in our foreign policy and our approach to the region. So thank you very much for your time today. I know that was long,